So why did Rosalía decide to call her new track Berghain? I have some theories. Berghain is the story of a woman struggling to relieve herself of heartbreak and pain. As most of you know, Berghain is probably the most famous club in all of Germany, possibly the world. With that in mind, let's cut to the opening scene. In the video, it looks like she's coming home from a night out. Anyone who's been to Berghain knows typically people like to wear black. And in the first scene, what is she wearing? Black. Then we have this very interesting shot of her lifting up her shoe, and at the bottom there's a piece of chewed gum. Her shoes are made of rosary beads. This is the perfect juxtaposition of what we'll continue to see throughout this video, and this tension between devotion and desire. Next, we see her holding a little heart pendant. When she turns this pendant over, it's dented in the back. Might symbolize a damaged heart or unhealable heartbreak. While she's sitting at the kitchen table, she takes a sugar cube and dips it into a cup of coffee. This is something that you should definitely keep in mind because it's going to be referenced later on in the video. Rosalía starts to sing about carrying many things in her heart and how it feels like a lead teddy bear. Maybe something that was once a comfort to her now feels like a heavy burden, but she still has this emotional attachment to it. Let's cut to her leaving her house. The orchestra follows her around, kind of ominously, and she is now wearing a gray outfit. This symbolizes her being caught between a light and a dark place. Soon we see her at the doctor's office where she gets an EKG. She doesn't know how to heal this heartbreak. And this is when the language also shifts to Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I'm gonna translate the lyrics. I'm just a sugar cube. I know that heat melts me. I know how to disappear. When you come, that's when I leave. Once she leaves the doctor's office, she then goes to the jeweler to try and get her heart pendant fixed. But unfortunately, there's nothing he can do. And when Rosalía returns home, she's transformed into Snow White. When she's in her house, it becomes very dark, and she's surrounded by all of these different woodland animals, just like in Snow White. And that's when little birdie Bjork appears, landing on her finger and saying, the only way to save us is through divine intervention. The only way out of this heartbreak is through transcendence or death. In Snow White, when she eats the poisonous apple, she falls into a death and death-like slumber. And that's also what happens here to Rosalía. We see her tossing and turning in bed, having nightmares. And that's also when we hear these lyrics. And they're being chanted over and over and over, like the beating of a heart. Cut to an image of the sugar cube again, dissolving. Then we have to think back to that line that you said previously. I am a sugar cube. When you come, that's when I leave. The last scene of a dove flying from the bed, and that is her transcendence, ridding herself of heartbreak. And last but not least, I think it's called Berghain because a lot of people that go to Berghain who live in Berlin say we're going to church, the techno church of Germany. If you have another hot take, then let me know.